We just finished celebrating 4th of July weekend, and I'm home, tired and ready to unwind. But we still have some TV games left to play, so let's just keep it simple and give some love to this Intellivision here. More specifically, Buzz Bombers, on this week's Cable Ace Award nominated episode of David the Gnome. Atari's Centipede, released in 1981, was an arcade hit and was a solid title for the home consoles and computers of the time. And with the success came a slew of imitators, such as the obscure arcade game Slither, which found more success as a pack-in title for ColecoVision's Roller Controller peripheral, Snake by Data Age for the Atari 2600, and finally, the game we're discussing today, Buzz Bombers. Before we begin, let me say a few words about the console I'm playing on, the Intellivision 2. This redesigned, cheaper version of the original hardware made many changes that makes playing a bit more of a chore than I'd like. I was never a big fan of the original hardwire controllers, but these feel like cheap plastic toys. The keypad buttons are absolutely flat, making games that require constant use of them much more challenging. The side buttons have zero feedback. I thought they were glued down at first. And for some reason, turning the system on and off is entirely a chore, as merely pressing the power button acts as a reset. You have to hold down the button for a certain amount of time for it to fully turn off. Anyway, to the game. In Buzz Bombers, you play the role of a can of bug spray trying to kill the bees. Pretty harsh considering these bees are only trying to pollinate some flowers and do what bees need to do to keep all this planet's life humming along nicely. But I digress. The worker bees move down in a zigzag pattern. Shoot them and they'll become a honeycomb. These combs will change the path of the bees, but if you leave them on screen long enough, a friendly little hummingbird will come along and feast on it. Let it finish and you score bonus points. Careful, as too much friendly fire will send her away puking off screen. As you advance levels, you'll start running into killer bees. They're much faster than the worker bees, but won't bounce off the honeycombs. If you manage to shoot the killer bee, you'll get a red honeycomb, which is worth more when the hummingbird eats it. It's possible to trap a bee due to its flight path and the placement of a honeycomb. If that happens, it becomes a beehive. Try not to accidentally shoot it, because finishing the level with it intact will score you even more bonus points. Your spray can holds 56 individual sprays. If you use them all up, you'll lose a can. Also, when the bees hit the ground unharmed, they'll produce some flowers which will trap your movement. If you're completely immobilized, you will also lose one can. Bonus cans are obtained at certain point intervals, but the more frantic the action gets, the quicker you can see these cans disappearing from your stockpile. Despite the senseless bee murdering, I mean really, who's the bad guy in this game? Buzz Bombers is a rather charming title. Each level greets you with an intro screen to let you get ready for the next challenge. There are little intermissions after beating a certain number of levels, and the song Flight of the Bumblebee plays constantly. The only problem is the music stops whenever another sound effect is playing, meaning the constant shooting makes it sound like the song is playing off of a damaged compact disc. Interestingly enough, Mattel originally designed the spray can with the Raid logo. It was intended for S.C. Johnson, parent company of Raid Insecticide, to cross-promote the game with their product. However, the offer was declined. No matter. Buzz Bombers is one of my favorites for my underappreciated Intellivision console. Now, what's great about the Intellivision is how many times I find games complete in box compared to other consoles. And this copy of Buzz Bombers definitely has its fair share of goodies. First of all, the controller inserts that came with every game, whether it really needed it or not, are fully intact here. Not too surprising considering they're useless for this game other than decoration. Of course, we have the obligatory instruction manual. Also, we have a nice thick catalog with advertisements for some other titles. I always love the artwork they incorporated into these things. It's almost like a crutch for your imagination, as I'm guessing they feared that the limited graphics at the time wasn't conveying enough information. Seriously, I want full-size copies of some of these for my wall. There's also a 90-day limited warranty, which is completely useless now, I assume. Finally, we have a coupon for the home video version of Tron. It's hard to imagine new videotapes cost close to $100 each back in the day, and laserdiscs were actually the cheaper format for a time. Also worth noting is the back of the box. It would appear that someone decided to test their Sharpie out on an otherwise perfectly fine original box. But nope, all copies are actually like this. What happens is they advertise this as a 2-player game erroneously, and to correct this error, they had to actually hand strike each individual copy of the back of the box before shipping it to store shelves. At any rate, you can find Buzz Bombers on various Intellivision compilations for modern consoles, as well as the original cart fairly easily. Centipede is still the stronger game, but this is a fine, quirky alternative. This was Dave for TV Games. Please remember to like, comment, and or subscribe so I have something to discuss in my dream journal. And please don't actually kill bees, no matter how scary they are. See you next time. Ready?
Good.
Thanks. Okay, really quick.
Was David the Gnome an actual thing?
It was a show on Nickelodeon.